Okay, we're starting Bamidbar. And we're starting Bamidbar, is that correct? Al-Kore? Parshas Bamidbar, just making sure. So, Bamidbar is like really, there's so much going on in this sefer. Like in the beginning, you're lighting the candles and this and that, and we have like the Meraglim, and we have Korach, and we have the Bilam and Balak and the daughters of Moab and Midian, like the biggest highs and the lowest lows. There's such enormous events happening in this sefer, like of a national collective almost move to greatness, and then to suicide, and then to destruction, and to building. It's all happening over here. So all the way in the beginning of the parsha, in the Chumash, Hashem says to Moshe, and he says to him, "Se'u es Rosh kol adas b'nei Yisrael." Se'u es Rosh. What does Se'u mean? What does it mean? Anybody know? Count them, lift them, raise them. Depends how you look at it. According to the way Uncle Is says, get the numbers, count them. Count them. What does it mean to count something? Why do we count things? We count, so this is sometimes a very practical reason. They're about to go to war in Eretz Yisrael. So we're going to count how many soldiers you have, just know how to divide them and set up the platoons and set up the army at the same time as also we're going to divide the land. Well, how many people are in each shevet? How many people need to go where? So there's a certain practical element here. The Ramban is still very troubled, and he's like, I don't even understand what this mitzvah is for. Like, I'm not sure what it was about. And he brings two definitions of the word se'u, to raise up. One of them is, you all know the story, Yosef is in prison, and there's dreams that the Sarah Mashkin has and the Sarah Ofen has. And the wine steward has a dream that that Paro will raise, the interpretation was that Paro will raise up his head. And the baker has the dream, the Sarah Ofen, that his head will be raised off of him. So one is going back to his place of great honor and glory, the wine steward of the king, and the other is having his head lifted off his body. He's getting killed. Se'u es Rosh b'nei Yisrael. And there's two midrashim. One says this is compared to an executioner who's told, take the guy's head off. Wow. And the other is told, and the other is, raise him to greatness. What's this counting business? We count things when we want to know how many we have. Now, why? If there's a practical cause, but the guy's counting all of his money. Why is he counting all of his money? He just wants to know how much money do I have. Hashem knows how many Jews there are. Like Hashem doesn't need to count. He knows every particle of creation, every one of the trillions upon trillions upon trillions upon trillions of cells in creation. Hashem knows every single one of them, created every single one of them, gives every single one of them existence. Like we say every day, Va'ata mechaya es kulam, Hashem, you give life to everything that exists. So Hashem doesn't need to count. But we count things that are precious to us. But Hashem knows. But maybe there's something else also going on over here. There's another word that's used for counting them. From 20 years and up, kol yotzei tzava b'Yisrael, tifkedu osam. Tifkedu, be poked. Okay, it's another word for counting. But it's also a word that means paying attention to. You have a person who works, the Ramban says, All pshatim go around this concept of remembering something and paying attention to it. Nobody argues in this. Every time it's said anywhere, this is an essential meaning of this word. Tifkidu, poked. Pay attention. Remember this thing. This thing has value. This thing is set aside. It has a job. It has a purpose. You know, there's another word for number called minyan. Right? When we have a minyan, we have a counting. We have enough people to make a minyan. Right? The word moneh means count. It also means appoint. V'yafked hamelech pekidim, it says in Esther. The king will appoint his officers. The Targum says limanos, to mimane, to count. We have a concept that you have a little bit of milk, falls into meat. Is it kosher? Wait, how much? 1 in 60, up to 1 in 60 is okay, right? If you have 60 times, it's bottle, it doesn't count. There are some exceptions. Davar shebiminyan, something which is sold according to its number, that does not get wiped out. Davar shebiminyan. So if you're buying watermelons, you don't buy that. I mean, they might charge you by the weight, but I'm saying those are individual items. Even big pieces of meat, even certain things are called a dover shebiminyan. We count them individually. We don't just sell them by weight or by volume. That means this thing is important. And that doesn't get wiped out. 1 in 60 doesn't work. Just doesn't work. It's valuable. It's a dover shebiminyan. Hashem is saying to Moshe, listen, raise up the Bnei Israel. There's a little bit of a problem when we're raised up. We become a little bit high profile. We can go to greatness, or we can have our heads taken off. I want you to know how precious you are. Each one of you, irreplaceable. Each one of you has your own number. Hashem says, count them. Every one. The Ramban says every member of the Jewish people has to pass by Moshe and Aaron. They have to notice them. They have to know who they are. Okay, you need to be a Navi maybe to pick it up that quickly. But every single member needs to have that meeting of the eyes, that connection with Moshe and Aaron. Because that will help raise them up. There's a danger. The danger is when you count, you're noticed. I remember when I was a kid, my father told me when I was playing basketball on the camp team, and I might have said something inappropriate at one point. He says, when everyone is looking at you, you have to be more careful because people are going to learn from you. The responsibility is greater. You're representing your team, well then you got to stand up and be counted. So, Se'us Rosh B'nai Israel. We have to know that we matter. Mattering also means that we have a responsibility. We can't just avoid it. We can't just hide from it. We can't just run from it. Every one of us has a job. We're part of the creation that HaKadosh Baruch Hu counted us and wants us to be here and gives us an obligation and a responsibility and a gift to be raised and to be great. People going away soon. The summer's coming. The world is on vacation in the summer. It's just vacation, free. We should all be zeichet to stand up and be counted. A very good Shabbos.